a tutorial for you guys here. This is a move that I saw a long time ago. It's definitely not a new move. I probably saw it when I first started flipping, which was a few years ago at least. And it was done by a guy named Steph at the flipping arena. I haven't really seen many people do it, and I think it's an awesome move, so that's why I wanted to go over it. What it is, it's an aerial Y2K to scissor. So it's a basic aerial to get into scissoring. And there's a couple of variations that you can do of it. The concept of the move is pretty easy. Basically, you're going to be doing a regular Y2K, except that you can give it a little bit of a pop when you throw it, so that it will do a full rotation in the air, and you'll be catching it like this as you normally would when you do scissoring. So to start the move, you have to start with the bite handle, because whatever you're catching on this end, right, is going to be the opposite handle. So you can't do it with the safe, because unless you want to bite handle scissor, then you could do it. But when you're learning, start with the bite handle in this position, and you're going to be pretty much doing a standard thumb rollover or Y2K. The difference is that when you go for the roll, when you're at this position, you're going to give the knife a little bit of a lift to give it air, and then you'll catch it in this position and then continue to twirl. So again, the motion, if you notice my hand motion, it's kind of a down and then up. So you're almost doing like an oval shape, and the upward motion is more of a pop, so that when you release the knife, it gets enough, it actually gets enough air for you to catch it. The tricky part of the move that I found, the move itself is kind of tricky, but I found that on camera, I noticed that if you do it a little bit, if you don't do it with enough air, it kind of just looks like you went into a regular rollover to twirl. So that's the part that I want to go over, is how to give that exaggerated aerial look to sell the audience exactly what you're doing. Because if you don't, it can kind of get lost in your whole routine, which is pointless, you know. So the way that I think it should be done is you want to slow that rotation down as much as possible, which means it's not so much giving it more air, but kind of going along with the knife and catching it. Instead of catching it right away, let it fall just a little bit more so that you can really exaggerate that catch. That way people understand that it's actually an aerial that you're doing. So you can catch it very, very fast like this. But what I like to do, and this is going to be a little bit hard because I'm going to compress the space here, but I like to kind of give it the pop and, kind of go with the knife. Slow down my catch a little bit so that you can really, let whoever's watching know that you are in fact doing an aerial. So I think that's kind of the trick. You don't want to just, if I do that, it's just not enough time in the air to really...
It doesn't look like you let go?
Yeah, it doesn't really look like I let go. I caught myself when I was filming myself. It feels like when you're flipping that you did that trick. You did the aerial Y2K into a scissor, because the knife left your hand. But when you watch it on camera, the brain doesn't register that, because obviously you're not the one flipping, you're watching. So you really have to get the aerial part translated well to the camera. The only way you can do that is much easier if you're standing, because then you have even more room to work with. But you really want to slow down that rotation and catch it just a little bit later, so that you know, people see that you're throwing here and you're catching here.
It's like kind of the same reason why I let my meat grinders and other tricks like that take a real long dive, and I always reach a little more to catch it.
Yeah, I found that, you know, the thing is, it's a fine balance, because if you're reaching, then it looks sloppy, but if you're too quick with it, then you don't see the trick in its entirety. So it's a fine line. It's just like, you know, what Lucy's saying here.
I reach in a very linear way on purpose, like straight to the point of apex of where it's going to land, right to the catch, you know, slam like that.
It's kind of
doing the same thing.
It's kind of like
going right to where it's going to be.
When Lucy does a Van Gogh, you know, he's like delaying his. I'm like out of frame here, but he's like delaying the when the knife is right here, then he goes like this, and he's catching, whereas you'll see a lot of people's hands are already be dangling here, and they're waiting for the knife.
They're throwing it to their hand.
Yeah, so, and I mean, like, it doesn't sell the effect of the power aerial if you're sitting here like this, and then you just catch it. Whereas if you throw it and there's a lot of air, and then you quickly move and then catch the knife, people understand. Oh wow, okay, he's moving his head and he's catching it behind his head. You know, it sells that to the audience a lot more when you're doing it in two steps. And likewise, when you're doing this move, you know, if you're just really quick like that, you know, it's a little bit, it's smooth, it's nice, but you want to let people know, oh, okay, he's catching it much, you know, the knife is making a full rotation in the air, and then he's catching it, you know. The other reason why you want to slow it down, and this kind of goes into the variation of the move, is you can go straight into a chaplain like this. I love that move. And that translates well to transfers as well. So if you give it more time, you can actually catch it with your opposite hand and go into the scissor, which is nice. It gives you time, and you can also go into that chaplain as well. It's a really sweet transfer. So that's the two reasons why you want to delay your throw. It gives you more time to catch if you're transferring, and it also gives you the effect that you're actually trying to sell to the whoever is watching, you know, like so. So it's a pretty cool move. I literally, maybe you guys have seen it, but I haven't seen it. I saw Steph do it 3.5 years ago, and I think it's a brilliant move. So I would love to see that in more people's combos. It's an aerial transfer. It's great for regular combos. So I really hope to see it in more of your videos, and you know, post up on our Facebook or YouTube or whatever if you guys have questions or comments. But I'd love to see this move come back. So thanks for watching.